Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to be right back with today's guest, but as always, guess what? We're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, remember, these are all companies, they're great companies that help athletic directors. You should be using them. So I want you to take 3 minutes, listen to our sponsor shout outs, then listen to our Wednesday Wisdom guest, and then go and visit these sponsors because you're going to be very glad you did. Here we go. We want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. You can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. You've heard me say many times, probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. We use it for home games, of course, but we also use it for pep rallies, for signing ceremonies. Their products are tremendously versatile and their customer service just outstanding. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that live web demo today. We also want to say thank you to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches, I'm telling you, all of our coaches, our student athletes, even our parents, just love the Huddle platform. Go to huddle.com, join the 100 million users, and turn your school into a Huddle school. That's huddle.com. We want to say thanks to Beacon Creative and Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Now, Wall of Fame has been helping schools bring their legacy to life for over a decade, but Beacon Creative takes it to a whole new level. Beacon is a content creation service. They're going to take your data, your stories, your legacy, create compelling narratives that you can then post on social media. You don't have to lift a finger. I want you to email John Townsend, and you can do that at John, John, at beaconwalloffame.com. Beacon Creative and Vital Signs Wall of Fame. It's a winning team. Let's also say thanks to Home Campus. Home Campus is a platform you're going to use every single day for scheduling, rosters, results, facilities. Their athletic eligibility and clearance platform alone is a game changer. Go to homecampus.com to find out all the things they can do for you and your program. That's Home Campus. And as always, don't forget to mention the podcast. That's homecampus.com. We want to thank our good friends at Gipper.com. Go to Gipper.com and let their team help you become a social media marketing guru. Your athletic department, your teams, your kids, they're doing great things. And Gipper helps you promote that in your community, to your state, and even further. All your content is guaranteed to stay on brand with your colors, your logos. Gipper's templates make it easy. It's so easy, even I can do it. Check out their digital newsletter. It's all at Gipper.com. And as always, don't forget to mention the podcast. We want to say thanks to Hometown. Hometown continues to be a leader in our industry with their solutions that include things like, well, digital ticketing, of course, but how about fee-free fundraising, athletic website construction? The list just goes on and on. Whether you're an athletic director, a principal, even a head coach, Hometown is going to show you how to save time, how to raise more money, and how to bring your entire community together. You're going to find it all and more at hometown.com. We want to say thanks to Ohio University and their online master's in athletic administration. Now, I didn't get my master's through the Ohio program, but guess what? My assistant athletic director did, along with thousands of others, and it was a great experience. And while they were earning their master's degree, they also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. We want to say thanks to Booster Hub. Booster Hub is the #1 Booster Club software program, and it does everything. Sponsorship payments, meal fees, concession sales, all of it flows through their secure system. Volunteer signups, volunteer changes, nothing falls through the cracks. It all stays strong, fraud risks stay low. Your boosters need the #1 Booster Club software program. Go to boosterhub.com and make sure you tell them you heard about it on the podcast. We want to also thank our good friends at Athletic Surveys. You know, at my school, we use surveys for just about everything, for student athletes, for our coaches, even for parents. And here's the cool thing. The information that came back on these surveys, almost always over the top positive. We still got to hear from our squeaky wheel parents, but the surveys allowed us to hear their concerns, usually address them before they turned into something big. But going back to that positive data, tremendously valuable resource, especially if you're having to visit with your principal, sometimes even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. And as always, tell them you heard about it on the Educational AD Podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We're going back to North Carolina, and we're going to visit with somebody I like to call a friend of the show, Rhonda Dreibelbis. Rhonda has an incredible background as a coach, as an athletic director, multiple halls of fame. If you missed her interview from a couple of years ago, I encourage you to go back into our Spotify archives and listen to it. Rhonda is a certified master athletic administrator also, and she is the assistant commissioner for sports and championships for the North Carolina High School Activities Association. Tremendous resource. If you're not following her, you need to follow her on social media. But Rhonda, welcome back to the Educational AD Podcast.
Thank you so much, Jake. It's so great to be here with you. Enjoy it.
Well, for our listeners, we're recording this here in late February, February 25th. So it's pretty timely when you're going to be listening to it. It's a busy time for ADs. Obviously, winter sports, winter championships are wrapping up. Spring sports in many states are already going. But we got a couple of topics I wanted to kick around today with Rhonda. I guess the first one, let's go and just dive right in. In many states, and Florida is certainly one of them, our state legislature has gotten involved, maybe more than we would like, in the administration of high school athletics. And we can get into some of those details later, but what's the situation in North Carolina right now, if I can kind of put you on the spot, with the State Activities Association and your state legislature?
Good question, Jake. Thank you. So we have an MOU with the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and Superintendent of Public Instruction. And with that, State Board of Education is the writing authority of our eligibility rules. And we have been deemed as the administering organization that carries those rules out and enforces those within our membership. So we work hand in hand with them in order to establish those guidelines that are set forth for our membership to be able to follow. Now, what that means is that when our board, which meets twice a year, when they come in, anything that is voted on by them goes to our superintendent of public instruction. It is then vetted with the state board, and if they seem that they feel everything is okay, they are good with any adjustments or any rules that we want to change, then we can put that into policy with our rules. So anything that our board decides, it still has another layer that it has to go through in order to be approved.
Mm-hmm. Now, you hear about other states where it has become contentious between the association. Some states, I know the Activities Association, the Athletic Association, has actually been dissolved by the state legislature. You know, we're not at that point here in Florida, but there's a couple of I guess there are policies in our association because they have become state law, and I'm just going to go and jump into the first one. Transfers. It used to be 100 years ago when I was in high school that, kids, they look forward to going to their high school and, transfers. The only time you transferred is if, your family moved. It just wasn't a thing.
Right.
Now in the state of Florida, and it's been this way for many years, since a parent contacted their local legislator, and the legislator sponsored a bill, and the bill passed, and it's gone through modifications. But right now in Florida, it is a state law that a student can participate on School A in the fall season. As soon as that season's over, they can legally enroll, even if it's just down the block, in School B and play a winter sport. And then they can do the same thing again in the spring, go to a third school and play sports. It is a state law. No AD, no coach likes this rule. There's actually some rumors that this might get repealed, or they'd have a new law and it'd go back to what I think many of us would call normal. But what's the situation in North Carolina regarding students and student athlete transfers?
So again, based on our state board, we address that whether a student is moving within their PSU or without of their PSU. And that PSU stands for Public School Unit, or many refer to that as LEA, Local Education Authority. And so we really have, if that student athlete is transferring within that PSU, or if that student athlete is transferring from one PSU to another PSU. And our rules say that they have to sit unless the local PSU has a policy that allows them to participate, or if they're going from one PSU to another PSU, those two PSU's governing bodies have to agree in order for that student athlete to be able to participate. If they don't agree, then it comes to our office where a preponderance of evidence, we then can determine if that student is eligible to attend School B or not.
Mm-hmm. Just generally speaking, is this something that North Carolina Association, this is a point of interest, it's a problem, it's an epidemic? What's the frame of mind from your office regarding student transfers in North Carolina?
For the most part, Jake, our school systems will agree. Some have policies that govern them and how they determine what that student, whether they're going to accept students or not. We do emphasize to them, to make sure that if a student is going from one PSU to another PSU, to make sure that they have done their due diligence in what we define as a bona fide change of residence, and just to make sure that that student athlete is eligible in all aspects of attendance, grades, and then meeting that criteria of a bona fide change of residence in order to be able to participate.
Mm-hmm. Is there in Florida, again, I'm framing it from obviously my 20 plus years here in Florida, public schools and private schools, they're all in the same association. They base classification primarily on enrollment and geography. There's a couple of other variations, but for public and private in North Carolina, are they considered, are they in the same group, if you will, for championships, or are they separate?
No, we are separate. So we have a North Carolina High School Athletic Association, which is us. And then we also have the North Carolina Independent School Athletic Association. Now, we have non-parochial boarding schools. We have 3 of those that are in our association, but for the rest of those schools, they are in the North Carolina Independent School Athletic Association. They have their own board, they have their own rules, own policies, and own state championships. So we do not combine with them for any of our state championships.
Okay. And those 3 schools that you mentioned, I assume they chose to apply for membership in the North Carolina and then had to go through, whatever process a new public school would have to do. Is that correct?
Exactly. And they agree to follow our rules. They pay their membership dues. And then, so we have those 3 schools. We have charter schools, which are considered public schools. And then we have our traditional public schools. And I think one of the issues or one of the misunderstandings that we have with a lot of people is that they don't understand that charter schools are considered public schools. And so when we talk about them being a part of our association, they are considered a public school entity.
Mhm. Um, Again, I'm just fascinated by the similarities and the differences, from state to state to state. Let's go and talk about another favorite topic, or maybe not a favorite topic. NIL. NIL is here at the high school level. I think there's a tremendous lack of understanding from a lot of people, ADs included, on how it plays out. Each state seems to have their own different flavor. I think most try to follow, as far as an NIL policy, a student athlete can make money from their name, image, and likeness, but they can't wear the school uniform. They can't use the school logo or colors. They can't, shoot a commercial on the school's basketball court, something like that. Is
Right.
that sound like North Carolina's
Yeah.
NIL policy?
Yes. And, so we understand that, mine and your we own our name, our image, our likeness, but we do not own those, the school uniform, the court, or, the courts that we play on, the fields that we play on. And so ours is similar to that, again, working with state board who designed that policy. And we go, Jake, into so much as to explain to our membership who can and cannot be involved in student athletes obtaining those NIL deals. For example, coaches, boosters, anybody associated with the school, they are not allowed to speak or promote or bring that student athlete together with someone who may be trying to offer them an NIL deal. We also partnered with the National Federation because they have an NIL course. And so we require, if a student athlete is under 18, then their parents have to also take that
Right.
course as well, because we want them to be educated on what that is like, what that can look like. And the last thing that any of us want is that a student athlete who has the talent and potential to be able to play at the next level, just making sure that they understand that the NCAA also has rules and policies in place for those student athletes who would be making that transition, and just making sure that none of their rules and policies are broken as that student athlete is able to make money off of their name, image, and likeness. And the one big thing that we try to explain and make sure everyone understands is that that is not a pay for play. That is truly those student athletes being able to make a profit off of their name, image, and likeness.
Right. And again, the couple points you bring up are very important. Nobody wants to see a kid taken advantage of in some sort of shady deal. And there's already been, a number of, I guess, news articles in different states. I haven't seen one for North Carolina yet, of, let's say, an unscrupulous company, trying to sign kids to, promising them NIL deals, and that couldn't be further from the truth. And you also bring up another great point, is because NIL is much more, although it might not, maybe this is the bad word, organized. It's much more prevalent, obviously, at the college level, the NCAA level. We don't want to see kids jeopardize potential even bigger monies from NIL at the college level because they had a misstep as a high school student.
Right.
Again, my personal feelings on NIL, I've made public on this platform a number of times. I was a coach, teacher, and an AD for 41 years, 27 as an AD, but a lot of teaching and coaching, high school, college. And in that 41 years, I had a total of 5 student athletes in football and track. Those are my primary sports. Receive Division One, let's say, full rides. Okay.
Right.
And I think that's there's some schools out there, they're Division I factories. We get it. You get blue chip kids year after year after year. Those are the kids that I saw. And they were good college athletes, but they weren't going to get, if it was 2026, they weren't going to get any big NIL money. They were just getting that scholarship. So
Right.
I think the number of kids that are going to get those big NIL dollars is far less than those 5 students that I just mentioned. And so extrapolating in reverse to the high school level, I don't see NIL as this big, the sky is falling sort of thing. I'm talking to you, coach, right now that's listening to this. Okay. Your kid's not going to get an NIL offer. And if they do, that's great. An athletic director, a county AD in Georgia, pretty good athletic state, said they have something like 10,000 student athletes in their county. And they have to report to the Georgia Association any NIL deals that come their way. The kids are required to report. He said that out of his 10,000 students, less than 100 total NIL deals. And the most glamorous NIL deal was like $1,000 from a kid whose grandparents owned a dairy, and they sponsored him with $1,000, and he wasn't even a starter. They were just, giving him. So it's not that big thing. So now I'm going to step off my soapbox. Rhonda, what are your thoughts on high school NIL and as you've seen it play out so far in North Carolina?
Well, I think, Jake, whenever we look at that, globally, as we had said, that I think those student athletes should have that opportunity to
Absolutely.
to profit
Absolutely.
off of their name, image, and likeness. When we sit in our chairs, we have to remind, and we have those policies in place as well, that the schools have to notify us. We have a time frame in all of that. And then our whole point is that we are education-based athletics. We are the purity of sports. And what a lot of people, I think, have to really understand is that the premise of education-based athletics is not necessarily for that student athlete who may have that really large NIL deal, if not now the potential to have it at the collegiate level. But it's for that student athlete who wants to play those sports and wants to be involved in those sports for everything else that high school sports brings to the table with them. The camaraderie, the making of friends, the being involved, the multi-sport athletes who are able to have different friends and learn different things and different ideas and different ways of doing things from the different coaches that they have participating in sports. And so do I think it is a great opportunity for our young people? Yes. But I also hang my hat really hard on the fact that we are education-based athletics, and everything that entails and brings and offers to a student athlete is much more important than chasing that dollar or mom and dad chasing that dollar for them.
No, again, you couldn't I couldn't have said it better. That's exactly right. The education-based experience. It's great that these kids have the opportunity to earn those monies or earn those endorsements, if you will, whatever it is, TikTok clicks or whatever. But that's way down the list of the things that we're trying to promote with education-based athletic. Great answer. Great answer.
Yeah.
I need to put that on a banner. You talked, you mentioned a couple times about viewing things globally. And I think many times the individuals at the state association in all states, they get kind of a bad rap from rank and file coaches and ADs that just don't understand the importance of that organization and of the position and the things that you deal with and that global look. You and I were talking before we started to record, and you just mentioned a great example of how state associations work with your recent indoor track and field championships for North Carolina. Can you kind of set that up and share with our listeners what it was, and then how you and your staff dealt with that and turned it into a successful event.
Sure. As you know, that last big snowstorm that, I think they said every state, I know that every county in the state of North Carolina was affected by that, which obviously trickles down and starts affecting, the world of athletics. And so there are hard decisions that have to be made. And unfortunately, this year, we were just in a situation where there was no way we were going to be able to have our regional swim and dive championships. And so we had to move straight into our state championships with timed finals. And so it's the process, and when those decisions have to be made, obviously we involve our board in that. We give them feedback, we present options that we have come up to them, and then there are discussions about that. And I think that the one message that from state associations would be given to athletic directors and coaches, not only in North Carolina, but across the country, is that when you and I have sat in those athletic director chairs, and your focus is on your student athletes and what we need to do to provide an opportunity for them to be successful, and we want them to be able to compete and have all of those wonderful memories that they have, especially for our senior student athletes. When you're sitting in our chairs, it's not only just about that one sport. We're having to handle and make decisions based on swim and dive, indoor track and field. You have facility issues, because it's easy for parents or for the general public to think, oh, we'll just pick up the phone and call X and tell them that we want to come. And we wish that we were able to do that, but understanding that, they have protocols in place, they have policies in place, and not everybody is welcoming and wanting, to be able to have those venues on their campus. And we certainly understand that. And swim is one of those sports where not every high school has an outdoor swimming pool. And we know that. And that's, that's one of the downfalls, that we don't have that in that sport. But just being able to understand that we have to look at everything across the board as it pertains to all sports, staffing, all of those entities that go into producing memorable state championships for student athletes across the country.
Yeah, and again, the number of factors that you all have to deal with when making these types of decisions. Travel for schools, and the expenses involved with spending that second night. There's just a lot of things that the coach or the AD at school X is just thinking. They're thinking about their own team, and they don't think, well, hey, I'm a member of this state association. That might have to be a little flexible with my own selfish plans. And again, I was guilty as the next guy, as a coach or as an AD, thinking, what are those people up in our case, it was Gainesville. What are those people in Gainesville thinking? Okay, boy, this has gone really fast. Let's do this. If one of our listeners wanted to reach out, pick your brain a little bit more on that macro level, or just locally in North Carolina. And listeners, you have a tremendous resource here. I just glossed over Rhonda's bio. Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame AD, been with the state association now for a number of years. Tremendous resource. If one of our listeners wanted to get a hold of you, Rhonda, what's the best way that they can do that?
So they can call. My direct line is 919-240-7373. And my email address is Rhonda, RHONDA, @NCHSAA.org.
Okay. Well, Rhonda, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to share with our listeners. All the best as spring sports unroll. And we're definitely going to have to get you back on. We're not going to wait as long as we did this last time.
Thank you so much, Jake. I always enjoy visiting with you. I hope you have a great day.
Oh, absolutely. It's what do we got? It's 66 degrees here in Florida, almost springtime conditions. Okay?
Almost.
For our listeners, we want to say thanks to you. Hope you have a great day. And just remind you that we upload the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do Wednesday Wisdom just about every week, and just about every day we try to share stories and best practices from the world of athletics So please come back and join us again on the next episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Before we go, of course, we want to give our sponsors one more shout out. Let's say thanks to Home Campus. Go to homecampus.com. Booster Hub, the #1 booster club software program. Go to boosterhub.com. Athletic Surveys. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Beacon Creative and Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Make sure you check them out. Hometown, go to hometown.com. Huddle, as a football coach, I used Huddle. As an AD, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com for more information. And Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Check out Ohio University. And our good friends at Gipper. Go to gipper.com. Start creating world-class content for your school's social media channel. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.